Hey guys, Matt here. This is my review of J. Edgar. Now this movie is directed by one of my favorite actor-directors of all time, Clint Eastwood. And this movie stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Armie, Judi, Dench, and Naomi. Now the plot of this movie is about J. Edgar Hoover, the man who started the institution that we know of as the FBI. And the plot of the movie shows us J. Edgar's life, from the 1930s when he founded the FBI to his last days as its director in the 1960s. And going into this movie, I saw the trailer and I saw Clint Eastwood's name attached to it, and I was already sold. And then I saw that it was going to be about J. Edgar Hoover, and I was like, okay, this is somebody that I know of, but I don't know too much about, so I'm going to go in it and probably learn a thing or two. And then I saw Leonardo DiCaprio was going to be in it, and I was like, okay, the acting's going to be good, and I can tell you that it was. It really was. The thing that impressed me most about the acting in this movie was the way Leonardo DiCaprio and Armie and especially Naomi were able to portray their younger selves in the 30s, but also the same characters much older and wiser in the 1960s. I'm glad Clint Eastwood didn't pick 3 different actors to play their older selves. I'm glad they kept the same actors because their acting didn't skip a beat. They were so believable as their older selves, especially when Armie Hammer's character has a stroke and he recovers from it and he begins shaking like an elderly person does, and it was so believable. As far as the other minor characters go, great job on everyone, from Judi Dench, J. Edgar Hoover's mother, to the historical figures in the movie, like Charles Lindbergh, or even Robert Kennedy, who was played by, I forget his name. He was also in The Changeling. He's from the show Burn Notice. But back to Judi Dench. Her and J. Edgar Hoover, they have this mother-son relationship, much like Norman Bates did with his mother in Psycho, where a lot of the things that he does and a lot of his personality is built on the way he communicated with his mother and the way he was raised. His mom didn't want him to be fragile or weak, so he likes to put on this front, and he likes to act brave and sure of himself and very confident. And it really takes a toll on the way he lives his life. Now, the only problem I had with this movie, it's unfortunately a big one, is going to this, my first thoughts of it were Leonardo DiCaprio's other movie, The Aviator, where he played another real-life person, Howard Hughes, as well as the Matt Damon movie, The Good Shepherd, about the formation of the CIA. And I kept comparing these to them, because though the acting was really good in this movie, the content was just slow. Yes, it was about J. Edgar Hoover's life, but the content wasn't as entertaining and interesting as I hoped it would be. The Good Shepherd, to me, is really, really slow, though there was a bunch of espionage in the movie, which is what I liked. And unlike this movie, The Aviator also had a lot more going for it. They had a lot more characters and more entertaining scenes, and there was always a new thing every scene, every moment, whereas J. Edgar, flashing back and forward, the movie was slow. And some movies that are based on real people's lives, they either like to do one of 2 things. They like to either show a long timeline from beginning to end of somebody's life, or they'll pick a particular moment or scene or event in somebody's life, and they'll stretch that out and make a movie about that. And that seems like what Clint Eastwood did in this movie. He made a movie about J. Edgar Hoover's relationship with Clyde Tolson. So, because that wasn't exciting enough, I guess you could say, the movie dragged and dragged. And another thing that might make people they might get them scared or catch them off guard is the relationship between Clyde Tolson and J. Edgar Hoover. It's implied that there's a somewhat homosexual relationship there, but not to worry because it's handled very tastefully, much like in Brokeback Mountain or Single Man, where the movie is more focused on character development and the storyline as opposed to the homosexual scenes. And not to worry, like I said, it's tastefully done. It's not some blatant, graphic sex scene, or there's no derogatory language or anything. So, don't be scared. It's just a couple scenes. It's holding hands and a little bit more, but that's it. So, because the acting was really, really good, but the story was a little too slow for me, from a rating of a 1 to a 5, I'm going to give this a 3.5. I wanted to go into it saying, okay, it's going to be even better than The Aviator, but it wasn't as exciting. Maybe that's just me. Now, is Leonardo DiCaprio going to be up for an Oscar this year at the Academy Awards? I hope so, and I really hope he wins it, because it's finally time for him to win an Oscar. Will Armie Hammer be up for Best Supporting Actor? Probably, and he should win it. Will Clint Eastwood be up for Best Director? Man, I hope so, because him and Scorsese are my two favorites. So, till next time, guys, see ya.